And I think we're live. Hey, welcome back to No Hype Beer Reviews. We're doing the third episode of The Corner Pub, which was actually Mike's idea. And it's the first two episodes are on the Nerdsense channel. And a long story short, Sean's not here to figure out how to do it logistically. So that's why it's on my channel. But I hope, obviously, people watch this. And if you like it, you go and make sure you watch the ones we did on the Nerdsense channel. But Mike, do you want to explain a little bit about what the Corner Pub, the idea is?
My whole idea behind it was, you know, I mean, to be fair, this doesn't happen since I'm a real adult. But the idea of going down to the pub with your friends, have a beer, and shoot the shit, even just for an hour, just to get out of the house, to be away. But we're quarantined, more or less. I mean, where I live, we have bars and everything, but no one really's going, I don't think, you know. And all my really good beer friends don't live that close to me, so this makes more sense for me. You know,
we're in the same position there, man. I could, in theory, like sit outside at bars or at breweries that have outdoor seating. I don't have like brewery friends here or anything. So yeah, this is such a nice thing to do. Just period. Beers, and then we'll get into it, right?
Oh yeah, I am going with the theme. I'm going Trillium Black is Beautiful.
I'm so jealous, man. Sean was nice enough to send me one for me, and then I asked him to send a second for my friend Jerome. And I haven't given that one to Jerome yet, but I kind of want to keep it. It's so good.
It's so good. Weirdly, my first time having it, I wasn't that hot on it. It was good. There was some characteristics I found to be a little unpalatable, but honestly, only a week later, it was like just like chocolate milk. It's fucking great.
It's so good. I'm hopeful because that one has some barrel aging components. I just got a local one that also has some barrel aging components, so I'm hoping it's like a nice hit some of those notes. I'm going with one that Keith sent, and it's Two Locals Brewing Company with Chimney Rustic Ales. So it's a collab with these two guys. I don't know how clear that's going to be on the live stream.
Very clear.
Is it clear? But of course, I don't. Well, I guess what you see probably, like what I see, would be different than what's on the live stream. But what you see of me probably is pretty close to what the live stream quality is. But the genesis of doing this today, I mean, we've been wanting to do a third episode for a while, and if you can't tell by my shirt and the beers we're drinking, last night, relatively late, Chadwick Boseman died. And so we did want to talk. I'm going to talk about other things too. But we did want to talk about like Black Panther and just I guess just in general and what he did with that role, and maybe other roles and things like that. But it was weird. I had gotten on Facebook and I was like going to bed and kind of trying to unwind. Which don't go on Facebook if you want to unwind between politics and things like that. But I saw someone in this group that Mike and I are in, like for comic books and fantasy and stuff, had posted he died. And I thought it was like one of those stupid, like people just randomly say celebrities die who did not die. And I was actually mad. Like it got me wound up because I was mad someone would post something so stupid because obviously he didn't die. And then I clicked off of Facebook. And as I was clicking on Safari or whatever the iPhone uses, is when you, Mike, sent the message to Sean and I, hey, Chadwick Boseman died. And I'm like, did Mike also fall for this? And then, but yeah, so that's kind of, I still looked it up and saw a bunch of places were reporting. So I'm like, well, it's real. But anyway, how did you find out about it?
His Twitter feed.
Oh, yeah. I think his wife or someone had access, and it was pretty quick where they posted that nice picture of him and then those nice words. Yeah.
Yep. I quickly checked another list. I quickly Googled it or whatever, and it was like on like a very reputable Variety, one of those like don't fuck around sites.
Yeah.
So it was weird because I'm gonna be very like straightforward here. I didn't really like the Black Panther movie much. Okay. I didn't like Civil War, which is often.
I was gonna bring that up.
Yeah. But even if you go back to earlier comments about it. My favorite part about Civil War, I didn't expect it to be, was Black Panther.
Yeah.
I thought he was awesome in it. I thought his role in the movie was really good. My biggest issue with that movie really is sort of some parts of the first third and the last third. Like a lot of the middle stuff and all the stuff with Black Panther, I really really liked. I liked stuff with I thought Black Widow, minus a weird like Benedict Arnold bit. I thought most of her stuff was good, like stuff where she met with Steve in the church and said, "I don't want you to be alone." Stuff like that. I liked, some aspects, but on the whole, I thought Civil War was kind of just junk. But I did go through that movie this morning and rewatch all the stuff with Black Panther, and I was like, "God, this stuff's so good."
It's so good. I was actually planning to do this thing.
And my issues with Black Panther the movie have nothing to do with Chadwick Boseman either. I thought that Michael B. Jordan was, it's in my opinion, to put it that way, I didn't like him at all in his role. I usually like him as an actor a lot. I thought what he had done was he's a little hammy, but also the part was really poorly written in my opinion.
Okay.
But I did like the way Wakanda looked. I still love what's his name? Fucking Gollum as Claw.
Andy Serkis.
Andy Serkis. I loved him as Claw. I thought he was awesome. I didn't like how quickly and unceremoniously he was written out. Oh shit! God, that's good.
Vacation.
So, but what to get back to all of it is that I really, really liked Chadwick Boseman in the role.
Yeah.
And weirdly, like even if I'm looking at like an image of Black Panther or I see a comic, I immediately start thinking his voice.
Yes.
Like,
yes.
Yeah. And I think when I think of Chadwick Boseman, I think of T'Challa. Because he carried himself with such regality.
I think because again, I mean, you and I, who we are, the focus would be on Black Panther, but just the role selection that Jackie Robinson, Thurgood Marshall, James Brown, right? I didn't see that one.
Me neither.
And
I saw a trailer.
And then freaking Black Panther. I mean, just like in terms of cool characters to portray, in some real, some fictitious, obviously with Black Panther. But I mean, just cool choices. And the last thing I saw him in, I guess it's probably his last movie. I don't know this for a fact, but was the Spike Lee movie, the Vietnam one.
I didn't see that one.
The Five Bloods, I believe, is the name of it.
Yep.
He's a main character, but he's not a main character kind of a role. But like, he's just really good in it, and he's just a good actor. Although I liked Civil War and Black Panther way more than you, and that's not me. Like, I'm not trying to pit you and I against each other, obviously.
Yeah.
But like, I did like Civil War, and I did like Black Panther, and not that the movies are perfect either. No, the movie is, but that was like for sure one of the coolest things in Civil War when he appears. Like it's just like, this is as cool as I would want it to be. Like, I don't know how it could have been any cooler, and he totally was that role. And then and then I think a similar thing too with Spider-Man in that movie, where I'm as guilty as anyone else, is like, they're really going to have someone else play Spider-Man like already again. Didn't we do like that quick new actor thing already? And then I'm like, oh, I love this. I like that he is believable as a high schooler. I like their take on it. And the two best parts of Civil War might be those two characters who are, but like, yeah, it was so rad. And then, I have some personal things with the Black Panther movie, which I'll talk about, but like, it was just, yeah, he embodied that role, like you said, the regality of it. And he brought, because he's a king, right? So he brings that gravitas to it, but then like, he's a little funny in it. And you and I do disagree about Killmonger in it, because he actually is one of my favorite Marvel villains, because you believe his motive. Like, it's like, and you can, like, well, I don't know how wrong he is. Like, he's the villain, but he's making a really good point. And I loved, at the end where Chadwick's, character as Black Panther is like, I defeated the villain, but he taught me something. That's how the end of the movie is like, he's right. Like, we can't hoard this, technology, for ourselves. We need to go out into the world and do better. And it was just, I don't know, I loved how he could play all of those things. I had rewatched, I posted on Facebook, I'd rewatched him as T'Challa doing Black Jeopardy because like it was just nice to laugh, but like it just showed again like his range. Like he could play Jackie Robinson, he could play a king of a fictitious comic book movie, and then he could make me laugh. Like it was just, yeah, he was awesome.
Was that the one? Was that the one with the? He talks about the potato salad.
Yeah. It's so
That's
good.
Awesome.
It's so good. Yeah, at my old high school, at the old high school I taught at, we had a social studies office where everyone had a desk. I remember one day at lunch, it was just kind of like a lull. And yeah, we put it on, like everyone's just dying laughing. It was so funny. And yeah, I rewatched, like I said today, it's got like 22 million views. I mean, definitely it's one people like, so that's really rad. But yeah, it was hard, and it was a bad time, and to like hear that news because it affected me falling asleep. I kept thinking about it, and a lot of it was Black Panther. And I think it's too. I don't want to talk about like where Marvel goes from here. Like it's I think too soon. But like as a fan, but more to me the representation piece, it was just like weighing on me. I'm like, what? Like because I guess here's where I'll talk. And I'm sorry I'm dominating the conversation right now, Mike. But for me, when that movie was coming out, I had an idea, like as I was falling asleep, where I was, at the time at the high school I was working, I ran a club for male students of color. And I was like, I think this is a good idea. Like I could raise money and take them to go see Black Panther. And it's a little, unconventional, unorthodox to take students out of their school day to go watch a movie. But I ran the high school version of the club. I ran it by the guy who did the middle school version. He's like, no, I think that's a good idea. I don't think it's like crazy or anything. And then like a few days later, a guy was on Ellen talking about how he had the Black Panther Challenge, where he was a teacher or he worked at a YMCA or a Boys and Girls Club something. And he's like, yeah, I'm trying to raise money to take the local, whatever it was, Boys and Girls Club or YMCA kids to go see this movie. And, so we're doing this hashtag challenge, try to donate. So I'm like, okay, apparently this is like an idea. And so I raised enough money. Everyone was cool at the school, me doing it. And it was top 5 memory, like top 5 moment, top 5 feeling of my life, like just a theater packed with students who, you and I are old enough that, like, yeah, there was Blade, there was, Spawn even, we're in the 90s. Oddly, there were some like comic book characters who were Black men, but then you weren't seeing them, especially not like in a leading role at that time. And just like the pin drop silence of like them just enthralled. And I remember because I had seen it the day it came out with my family, and then this was like the Monday after the weekend it came out. So like once everyone was situated, it's like when I went out to like the lobby to get like some snacks or whatever, and when I came back, I just stood there in the back and just kind of like took it all in. And then talking to those kids afterwards, because one of the big things they would bring up to me is jobs they wanted. And they always talked about jobs where they saw a lot of people who look like themselves. And so I started bringing guest speakers who did like, because a lot of them were talking about like, I want to be a rapper, I want to be a football player. It's like, okay, but like, why? And they're like, well, because that's who makes money, looks like me. I'm like, well, let me bring in like a bunch of dudes who look like you, who have other jobs too. Like, I'm not trying to, if you have dreams, you do your dream. That's fine. I'm not going to talk you out of it. But like, when over 90% of the kids are like, I want to be an NFL player, and like, they're not even on the high school football team, we have a problem. Like, if you're putting all your eggs in that basket, you're not even like on the team. Sorry. So, I think in stories though, it's so important. So that's one of the things that was tough last night is like, the world needs Black Panther, like in my opinion. Like, so like, where do you go from here? And again, I think it's too fresh to try to speculate on that. But anyway, sorry, I was talking a lot.
That's all right. Weirdly, like my thoughts actually had very little to do with Black Panther. My thoughts about it were it was sort of like I had the same feeling I did when Anton Yelchin died.
Okay, I don't know that. No,
He was a young actor. He was in shit. I don't know. He was in like the Star Trek movies that
Oh
just came
yes,
up.
yes. I'm sorry. Yes, I know exactly what you're talking about.
He was in like Terminator Salvation. He was in a bunch of like really cool things too, like besides the big franchise stuff. But he was 27, which is significantly younger than Chadwick Boseman. But like I remember just thinking like what a like he was on the verge of hitting like the peak, and he didn't die. He didn't. It wasn't drugs. It wasn't some bullshit. He died of like a fucking something, an accident. You know, like or some shit. And when I saw it with Chadwick Boseman died, I was like, man, what a fucking young. I was surprised he was 43. I was surprised he was that old or whatever he was.
He's not
40.
that much older than us, man. Like he would have gotten his
Yeah,
diagnosis in a couple years from how old we are now. Like because he had
yeah.
it for 4 years. You know, like that's nuts.
But my thing was like, what a fucking a life cut short. You know, like you just a young guy.
You're
And
right. Both those actors were doing cool roles, and it would have been nice to see their career a couple more decades. Yeah, for sure.
and that's sort of what I was thinking. I was just thinking, like, this is what a young guy, what a fucking loss in that regard. And then like you see the stuff like when he like I don't know, it was maybe 2 years ago. It was I don't remember the context. I remember the conversation. I think it was at like an award show, and he talked about like how he got an anonymous benefactor to pay for his education
Yeah.
like in was it Oxford or England? It's somewhere, and it ended up like years later. He found out it was Denzel Washington that paid for
Yeah.
him to go to school. I was like, wow, and he held up every part of his end of the bargain. He's been like a good person. He's done interesting and fun roles, and he's done important things like Jackie Robinson, Thurgood Marshall, James Brown. Like, these are like really lofty
Yeah.
types of roles that that many young black men I'm sure would have killed for, you know. And I mean, and you know, until he got sick, he looked young. You wouldn't have been able to convince me he was over 32.
I mean, younger than we look.
That's a fact, yeah.
And
You know,
5+ years older than us. Yeah.
no. And one of the things I mentioned last night was, you know, he got diagnosed in 2016. I know Civil War came out in 2016, so it was filmed at least a year prior. So, but everything since then, like he was sick during, and they were talking about a guy that was like shredded as fuck and looked amazing as far as just carried so much power. And the people I know that were on chemo, they look dead.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know.
Oh yeah. No, that knocks you out. Yeah.
Sorry, one more thing is that guy who I was trying to get on the show earlier. He messaged me. We were talking about it last night and today, and he found this thing. He texted me. He said, "G's right in the feels," and then he took a clip of one of his interviews. I'm going to read it to you real quick.
Okay.
The interviewer says, "You came off of one Black Panther project, did Marshall, and then made another Black Panther movie. Did you bulk up, slim down, and then bulk up again?" He nods his head, looking exhausted. Right, yeah, yeah, yeah. Said, "You've been through the ringer." "Oh, you don't even know." Laughs. "You have no idea. One day I'll live to tell the story." It's like, fuck. If that doesn't make you cry,
Well, and that's the thing
Jesus.
too, and that's why I thought it was fake. No, he didn't talk about it. Like no one knew he
Nope.
was battling cancer for 4 years. So like it did sound, it made more logical sense to me that someone was just being cruel on the internet as if he really had died than he would have died. Like it just, yeah, a young, healthy looking guy by all accounts from what I knew. But yeah, I mean, just to, yeah, it's nuts, man. It was crazy. Um,
It makes me sad. It really does.
yeah,
I think that it's such. I mean, and plus you got to think of like this young guy, and he's approaching his peak, and seeing that window close in front of him.
yeah,
Like, at some point, he's gonna know it's not the battle's over,
yeah.
and at the end, he was still trying to do stuff. He'd done that one charity thing with 42 or whatever it was called.
Sounds like he did a lot of charity stuff. Yeah, I was reading up a little bit about him. Yeah.
He just endorsed Kamala Harris a couple days ago, right before he passed.
Oh, Hattie, I didn't hear that.
And so there's a picture of him and Kamala together, and it was just fucking sad thinking about this.
I saw a picture of her. He wasn't in it, but she was doing the Wakanda Forever hand gesture, arm gesture, I guess technically. Yeah, no, definitely lost it. Yeah, just the he chose a profession where such a tiny percentage make it to that level. So like right as he is becoming, I mean, especially with Black Panther, I mean, a household name, he is also hearing the news that he has a very serious kind of cancer. Like just he who knows how. I don't know when he started trying to be an actor, like going to taking these classes and things, but like years of that, and then he's finally like breaking out, and then it's like, oh, by the way, you have this. Yeah, it's freaking nuts, man. But anyway, yeah, like I know we wanted to talk about this, and we can continue talking about him obviously as well, but we can also move on to other topics. Did Sean want to join? He didn't respond to the. No, he hasn't sent a message either. I assume because he's on vacation that he would just be floating on a river or something like he was talking about, but.
Plus, I wasn't sure he'd have like actual reliable internet, you know.
Well, and I feel bad because I know Keith had wanted to do a live stream today, but I'm painting a bedroom, so I'm like, well, I'm busy all day. But then with this news, and you're like, do you want to do this? I'm like, well, yeah, I'll work this around. Alex is asking if he can join. He does a beer channel. Sure. Alex, I don't know how to get you the link. Send me, DM me on Instagram. I think, yeah, that should work. Never mind. Sorry, Alex. Yeah, send me a DM and I'll send you a link that way, buddy. But anyway, so other stuff.
Well, I was going to actually bring up one more thing. Well, actually two things. One is I'll talk about one sad thing, and then I'll go to a thing I think that's positive. Yeah. One is there's an actor I really, really like. He passed away before I was born, so let's leave it at that. His name is John Cazale, I think is how you pronounce it. I'm not sure. Okay. But he was in Dog Day Afternoon. He was in Godfather 1 and 2. He was in Deer Hunter. He played the older brother of Al Pacino's character, Michael. He died at the age of 42 of cancer as well, I believe. He was Meryl Streep's boyfriend. Every movie he was in was like up for Best Picture. Like literally, he was in 5 movies. He was in 5 movies. All of them were up for Best Picture.
Oh, yes. I remember this story. Yeah, I don't remember if it was from you, but I do remember this story.
But he died extremely young. He was 42. He looked older, as people back then tended to. But like he was literally at his peak, and he died, and even that just fucking makes me so sad. Same thing in similar age, similar diagnosis. It's just sad. But back to something I wanted to bring up when we were talking earlier was I was watching a little bit of Civil War. I was just flipping through like the Black Panther stuff. A lot of the movie, like I said, didn't do much for me. The Black Panther stuff was so awesome.
He was so good.
But the bit where right after his father dies and he's outside talking to Natasha, and he says he says that thing about death in his culture, which I'm going to read real quick as well. In my culture, death is not the end; it's more of a stepping off point. You reach out with both hands into the Bast and Sekhmet, and they lead you into the green velvet where you can run forever. It's a great line. It's a great little sort of eulogy for him. I think Natasha says, sounds peaceful. And he says something like, well, I'm not my father. And he gets up and you see his face and he says, I'm going to go kill that guy. And it's like, it's awesome. Like even just the direction, like the cameras, all that stuff was so good. And the way he just commanded the screen, it was just like, God damn, that guy. It's like it makes me sad how much that movie bothers me because his stuff in it is so good. The stuff where him and where he's chasing after Winter Soldier, Bucky Barnes, and it's him and Cap and Anthony Mackie's character,
Falcon.
Falcon, and like that scene is like outstanding.
Yeah.
And like when he's chasing down the building and he's slowing his fall by digging into the wall. God,
It's
that stuff's awesome, man. What a that even after the movie was over, that was the stuff that kind of stuck with me, And it has nothing to do with the fact that it's Black Panther. It has nothing to do with that he was a black guy. It doesn't have nothing. It's because all that stuff that mattered was it was awesome to me,
Yeah, and I think, how do I phrase this? Yeah, for me it's just good, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then I
Mm-hmm.
got to, for who I am as a person, see it from a point of view of people experiencing it in a different way, which was really cool.
Oh
But yeah,
yeah.
like I like Civil War a lot actually. But like
Yep.
if I do pick my two favorite things about it, it probably is Spider-Man and Black Panther, which is weird because the two main characters are Captain America and Iron Man. Yeah. Sorry, yeah, Alex sent me his stuff, so I'm just trying to get it to him.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan. I shouldn't say this. I'm not big on being sad when celebrities pass because they're people I don't know.
Yep.
Um, this one, like I said, did, for the reasons I talked about, upset me. And then the last one I can think of is Robin Williams,
Oh yeah.
because he he had so many performances that meant a lot to me, or
Mm-hmm.
like I enjoyed just on a superficial level, like just they made me laugh or they were fun or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And it just I'm like, man, he's not. I mean, again, like, and to build off of what you were saying, these two guys that we were already talking about, too young, and not that Ron Williams was especially young, but just we're missing out on decades of cool work these guys would have been doing. I mean, who knows what awesome thing Robin Williams would be doing, right? Or maybe not right now with COVID, but like had worked on or was working on or would be working on. And like that one, yeah, for someone I didn't know at all, had never met him, nothing like that. That one hurt. That one I felt. All right, so he sent me an email. I posted it to Instagram. I don't know if he'll get it that way. Let me send it to his email. Um, I don't know how the best way to do this because if I copy this, anyway.
Yeah.
This is why we
Yeah.
have Sean do things.
That's right.
Sean is better at this. I hope Sean's not mad. We both thought he was doing stuff.
Yeah, and he did tell me a couple times to try to get some stuff done with you.
Yeah.
Last week he told me to do a corner pub with you as well.
Oh,
It's
did
all
he say
good to
that?
me. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Because I was trying to get one done with him, and because I knew you were busy at the time. So I like what I like about the corner pub idea is it really can be anybody. I'm
Yeah.
hoping it's one of us core three,
Mhm.
because that's the point of the show is because really like what I want to do is go down to a bar and have beer with you two guys.
That's the goal,
Um,
man.
yeah. But the corner pub is something. The idea to me is that it sort of is modular. Like it could be really anybody. And literally, I don't mean like when Gene Simmons says that Kiss can be anybody because that's a crock of shit. But
Good reference.
God, this beer is so good. Sorry, I keep
No, we haven't even talked about the beers. Okay, send me a link on the chat then. Alex, I just emailed you the link. So if it didn't work from Instagram, try the link that I just emailed you. Yeah, let's talk about the beers we're drinking. So I know you've had this one on camera, but like, what's it doing for you now?
What I like about it is that the barrel isn't a major part of it. I like that there is barrel character, but the barrel is almost just like a tint. You know
Mm.
what I mean? Sometimes the barrel is an overwhelming thing, and it's fine because I like that too. But I'm actually kind of enjoying the fact that the barrel is really kind of a minor deal. Just a little bit of a color, just a little bit of a shade. But it's coming through in big bits of like chocolate, but there's like some dark chocolate and some milk chocolate, and like
Nice.
it is so creamy and just yummy, and it's like a dessert. And for a guy who doesn't like desserts, it's kind of strange that this is making me so happy. But it's a blended imperial stout with Papua New Guinea vanilla beans. Vanilla is not like a huge component, but like basically I'm almost getting like just like deep, rich like cacao kind of notes and chocolate milk. It's just a really, really rich, delicious beer. How's it going,
Nice.
Alex?
What's up,
What's
Alex?
up, man? I just wanted to meet Kyle and meet you from, I think you're from Nerdsense, right?
Yes.
Yes. Nice to meet you guys.
Yeah, nice meeting you, Alex. Yeah. You for people who know, so Alex has a channel, so make sure you check it out, Alex. And we had talked. It seemed like a while ago. It's hard to kind of gauge time right now, but it seemed like a while ago. And we haven't been able to sync up yet. So this is rad, Alex. Are you drinking anything right now?
No, I'm not, but the good news is, Kyle, if we want to do things together, we could do that now since you got my personal Gmail now. So
Okay.
you're golden because obviously you send it to my Gmail as well because I went on to the thing here. I'll show you what I'm talking about. When I go on to Instagram, for some reason, it won't let me go in, and I don't understand.
Yeah, and it was hard on my phone to copy the link for this.
This is what I got here. This is what you got me, and then I click on it, and it won't let me go on. As you can see, I tried to click this thing right here, and it won't let me. So it's good though because we don't need to be on my phone if I can get on here now. So.
Yeah, well, and you have my email at this point too, Alex. So that's good.
Yeah. So and you have my email as well, my Gmail as well, because you can just send me the link whenever you want me to come on. So easy as possible.
Yeah, and vice versa, man. No, that's perfect, dude.
So I'm sorry I don't have any beer. I would love. Actually, I came on you to ask. I wonder where I can get that beer. The Black is Beautiful because I've been wanting to try that. I heard it's from brewery only. I'm assuming, but
it's up over 1,000 of them. So if you go to blackisbeautiful.beer, there's a list, and you can look by state, and you can just look up what breweries in that state are doing it. This one, a friend of Matt from Massive Beer Review sent me. This is out of New Jersey. It's a collab from New Jersey. But Weathered Souls in is it Austin, Texas? I don't know if it says on here. San Antonio, Texas. They're the ones who pioneered it. But they're up over 1,000 breweries who are doing it. So check it out, man. See what state are you in?
New Jersey.
Oh, there you go.
Oh,
yeah.
Whoa.
So this is Two Locals Brewing and Chimney Rustic Ales, and it looked like it was actually brewed at Chimney Rustic Ales in Hamilton, New Jersey.
I don't know how far that is. I've heard of Hamilton, but I don't know how far that is. It's probably near Matt from Massive Beer Reviews, most likely.
Probably makes sense, yeah. But it's good. It tastes a lot. It's 9.5. If you follow, I think they followed the recipe. They think it'll get you around 10. This is 9.5. And it tastes a lot like the original recipe from what I can tell. I haven't had the original, but there's a little bit of an ethanol gasoline taste. Other than that, it's very good. It's like everything I want in this beer. There's just a little that I'm not loving, but it's
Did you say ethanol gasoline?
What's that?
Did you say gasoline?
Like that, like ethanol thing. Yeah, like that. Yeah, a little bit like gasoline. Not that I've ever drank gasoline. Anyone who's like, wow, this dude's like getting into it.
No, I just never heard of that term. That's interesting.
Yeah, it's like ethanol. Yeah, it's an alcohol. I'll just stick with alcohol. There's a little bit of an alcohol thing that I don't want.
When I think of when I say ethanol, like my point of reference is to say like almost a rubbing alcohol kind of or like a grain alcohol kind of a vodka.
Yeah, I forgot I was smaller now. I'm like over here hand gesturing like. Yes. Yeah. So anyway, you don't know what I'm doing over here, but anyway, yeah. Too funny.
Well, I'm sorry I'm not drinking, but I just figured I'd want to meet you guys and maybe build a great friendship. I obviously messaged Kyle a couple of times on his videos, let him know I like that beer or something like that.
Yeah.
I also see Kyle here drinking lots of Treehouse. I don't remember any Trillium. I think you did Trillium, but I don't remember.
I did Trillium, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, heck yeah. Yeah. I try to do a variety of things, but people definitely bust my chops. Apparently I do too many hyped breweries for a name with no hype in it. But yeah, no, I just the name No Hype is twofold. I tried to include non-hyped breweries, but also if I do a hyped beer, to not let that affect me. But some people,
you gotta notice, Kyle, if you watch my videos, my channel is Alex the Beer Master, but you also see food reviews. So regardless what your channel is, yes, you do no hype beers or hype beer. Doesn't matter. So if you check out my channel, it's still Alex the Beer Master. And sometimes, even though it doesn't say food reviews, I still have my food reviews on my channel too. So
you don't have to be tied to the name. But no, Alex, I appreciate it, man. And now we have each other's email, and I see you've been doing some live streams and stuff too. So again, guys, check out Alex for sure. He does live streams and videos, and send me an invite. Maybe you'll see Mike and/or I on one of your live streams.
I mean, this Friday, you don't have to join if you don't want, but this Food Friday is ham and cheese hoagies if you want, and beer.
Okay, I like all of those things. I mean, we call them subs where I live, but hoagie, I know what you mean.
It's subs because you're only a couple hours away from me anyway. You're in New York.
Good, man. All right, well, thanks, Alex. I appreciate you joining, but man, seriously, guys, check out Alex, and I love hoagies.
I appreciate you letting me hang out. I really do. I really do.
I almost swore on my channel. Heck yeah. But this one, I don't want to undersell it. It's good, but it does have that alcohol I don't want. All right, so we talked about the beers. Alex doesn't have a beer. That's okay. Oh, wait, sorry, I'm off camera again. That's okay. Wait, now I'm
Well, actually, Kyle, if you want to put us in, I don't know if you know how to do that, but
put you in what?
You see the squares when you see them. You can have if you don't want it like this, you could switch it up.
Oh, yeah, like this or something.
There you go. If you want it like that, I don't know.
That's better. No, because then you can see my random hair. No, you're right. My hand gestures over here. Yeah, that's funny.
I'm sorry. I just didn't know you knew that, but it's your time.
I wasn't. I knew it, but I wasn't thinking about it. No, it's true. It's funny.
I generally like the division because you fill up more of the screen with people, but this is definitely more you can see more if you want.
My preference is this because it's less on my face, which I like. I'm not a big fan of my face taking up too much. Whatever it is, whatever. I talk with my hands, so I like this one too. That's funny.
I'm the same way, Kyle. Italian. I don't know about you, but I'm Italian, and I just do hand gestures. Oh, I like this beer. This beer tastes good.
I'm not Italian, but I grew up in a predominantly Italian area. So people have pointed out to me, I'm like, I don't know if that's just because that's who I was around and that was like a trait I picked up, but I'm a mutt and Italian is not one of the things in my lineage, but I am a European mutt. But it was like when I went to college, I went about 3 hours away from where I lived. And that was one of the first things I learned. I'm like, wait, most people aren't Italian and Catholic in America? My life experience was like everyone except me, it felt like was Italian and Catholic. And I'm like, oh, Protestant is more than Catholicism for Christianity in the United States. I'm like, that's not my life experience. Yeah, it was funny. Mike, what'd you just open, bud?
I just opened the Meteor Mash, which is a double stout with coconut, chicory, and milk sugar. From
Burlington
Beer Company in Vermont.
Now, I know you're not a coffee guy. Do you like chicory in that?
The chicory is kind of a minor note, but it's sort of it gives you sort of like a woody kind of it sort of cuts back sweetness just a smidge,
The Dogfish used to have a really nice chicory stout. It had because chicory can kind of lean into coffee. And actually, when I was there, they had coffee that they did mix chicory into it, which was nice. But that's what I was wondering, since you like coffee, if it had too much of that.
No, because I when I think of chicory, I sort of think more of the cooking side. I think of barbecue or whatever. But it's fine. This is especially after the Chilean Black is beautiful. This one's even more overtly sweet. It's much more like milk chocolatey with coconut. Coconut's not that strong, but it does add like a level of sweetness to it.
Okay.
And the lactose is quite prominent as far as giving it that sort of creamy mouthfeel, that sort of sweetness, that sort of vanilla deal.
I get it. Alex, you like coconut in beer or no?
Oh, yes, I do, my brother.
Yeah,
Yes, I do.
and also like in a lot of styles, or just like
It all depends. I like the stout ones. I like vanilla. I like coconut. Believe it or not, I don't like coffee, but I like coffee beers, and I like coffee ice cream.
oh
It bothers me that I don't like coffee, but I'll go around and eat coffee ice cream or drink coffee beers.
yeah.
Don't make any sense.
Coffee ice cream is one of my favorite. Probably my favorite ice cream is Hershey's Cappuccino Crunch. I do love that sweet, milky coffee, and then it's got the fudge swirled in. Like that's Mike. It's not a Mike dessert. Well, it's dessert and it's coffee. So yeah, Mike would hate that. But yeah, no, I'm a big fan of coffee ice cream. I love coffee, but I do also love it as an adjunct in stouts. I'm not a big fan of I had a coffee in a Belgian, I think it was a triple, and I'm like, this does not work for me. Like I don't want coffee in that style.
I think that Trillium does something like that.
Really?
They have one. Yeah, I think they do. What was it called? I remember seeing it at a store. Back when they still distributed in stores, and I remember asking Sean about it.
Like in a double or a quad, like a Belgian double or a Belgian quad.
I'm gonna find out right now.
But in a triple, I didn't like what it did the profile. It was a weird experience too. I was at a winery, but they had some beers from a brewery there, and they labeled it something else, coffee. No, it didn't even say coffee on it. And they poured it. I said, well, the color is not what that style is. And I'm like, I'm just smelling. I'm like, it smells like coffee. Like, no, it's a whatever. I'm like, it smells like coffee. And I taste. I'm like, it tastes like coffee. So I looked up what the brewery was, and they make a coffee triple. I'm like, I think this is the coffee triple, not the thing you guys are saying. So maybe, I guess I could have been that wrong, but it was straight coffee. What were you thinking, Mike?
Oh no, this is Trillium Day and Night, the blonde barley wine, and it had Barrington coffee roasting, cold brew coffee, and Goodnow Farms cacao nibs. I'm going to show my phone, so it's not going to be a great image, but you can see the color of the beer.
Oh yeah, I see it. Nice can art, and it has a light behind it. I think it has some kind of a light on the can. I think it kind of looks like a light post, or no?
Yeah, yeah. But the beer itself is like a sort of a pale, not pale, but sort of a blonde of sorts. But it's a barley wine, but it had cold brew coffee in it, and I'm like, yeah, fuck that noise. That sounds awful.
I would try it, but it doesn't. Those aren't things I think should be together.
Yeah, but the thing is too is how many times have you had a beer where you're like, what the fuck? Like just looking at the descriptor, and you're like, well, that's the greatest shit of all time. So
that's fair. That's very fair.
Kyle, since this is the first time I've been on with you guys, I think I will drink one beer.
Okay. What do you think you're gonna go with?
I don't know. Trying to think what that. Oh, I'm gonna go get it.
Okay. Yeah, I'm trying go ahead.
The thing when you have adjuncts in a beer is sometimes you kind of come in knowing what you're gonna get. Other times, like, what? How is this supposed to fucking work? Yeah. And you have it, and you're like, oh, I guess that's fuck me, right?
No, that's fair. Yeah, I guess I should. And also, just because I had one, coffee Belgian style beer that I didn't like doesn't mean I wouldn't necessarily like someone else's take on that, or they're they brewed it a different way and obviously different proportions of coffee to the other flavors. But
go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead.
Well, just I was speaking of coffee barley wines, I hated that when Goose Island did their coffee Bourbon County barley wine. I'm like, why the coffee's not good in this? But maybe someone else would do it in a great way.
Now, this is not a beer, but it's kind of wine beer. But I also have collected art. So maybe I should bring one of those beers and see which one you think I should try. You never had collected art.
No, I like collective arts. That's a cool beer. I think that's a good choice.
So drink this? Okay. Because I like it anyway. It's kind of like a wine. I don't know if you ever had. Oh, so you said it's a good beer. So you've had this. Okay.
Yeah. I've been to Monk's a couple times. I've been fortunate enough to do that, and although I can't remember if I've had that there. I'm remembering a bottle. I don't know if I had a bottle there, but I remember having a bottle of it.
Okay, now, but I don't know if you had a bottle, when you open it up, it tries to gush her out, right?
That's why I'm thinking maybe I was there because I don't remember cleaning up or anything. So maybe they did open it for me. I don't know. I know I've had it though. I have had it. Or maybe it was at a bottle share. So like by the time it got to me, it wasn't an issue. Whatever. I don't have a memory of having to clean it up.
Let's see her. Because it's gonna gush, and I'm gonna have to. I hope it don't.
What is that question?
I told you.
Gush or not? I told you. Too funny.
Oh no, I had these. Man, it's not a bad date either. It's not even a bad date. I don't understand why they had to gush like that, but I knew it was going to happen. I knew it.
Is that John F.
Kennedy?
Alex, is that John F. Kennedy and Bobby Kennedy?
Wow, I tell you, I love my YouTube people. They're pretty smart. I'll tell you, because I have other YouTubers and they get surprised. Yes, that is John F. Kennedy and Bobby Kennedy, and then I have their graves there because my aunt actually went there 20 years ago. I never went there, but I went to Washington, which was a beautiful place when I was 15 or something. Actually, I have pictures of myself here. I could show you. I
do love Washington. I've been. I used to take students there on field trips, plus just going for fun myself.
Wait a minute, are you a teacher?
I am a teacher, yeah.
Oh, I had a feeling that was going to be the case. See, that's me in Washington.
Very cool.
I don't know if you can see that. There we go. Kind of hard to see, but that's me. I'm a little chubby then, but a little bit skinnier now.
I'm chubby now, and I'm skinnier then.
Same.
Although
I think when I was 15, I was 6'2" and I weighed 120 pounds.
When I was 15, I was probably about 6'2", and I was like just under 200, maybe around 200. But I am down almost 20 pounds. I've been actively working on losing weight. I am down. I'm almost at the 20-pound mark. So,
tell you the truth, Kyle, I was a little when you just said that, teacher. I always had a fear that teachers couldn't do beer reviews. But you know what? You're living proof, my brother.
Yeah, it's why I don't swear in my videos, or it's why I don't use my name. So like students couldn't just Google it. I wouldn't get in trouble, but like why invite that into my life where students are like, hey, I watched your video last night. Like I don't need that in my life. But yeah, it's something I would get in trouble for. Actually, my superintendent distills liquor like for fun. Like, so it's not like a vilified thing where I work, but it's just a headache I don't need where people are like, hey, hey, I saw your video, Mr. Wolf. Oh, I just said my last name.
You just said your last name, didn't you? Oh, Kyle. Unbelievable, Kyle.
That's at 4816, so let's delete that.
Kyle, is that your real name, though, Kyle? Because I keep calling you Kyle. Everybody says Kyle now.
No, is it Ryan? Is it Ryan?
Yeah, it is Kyle. Yeah, don't worry. Yeah, it is Kyle. Yeah, no, it's interesting. When I first started, I was at a different district before I moved, and I talked to like the union and stuff, and they're like, that wouldn't be an issue at all. So before I started, I did kind of like make sure it wouldn't be, frowned upon. My dog just got up. My dog was asleep, now he's awake.
I didn't get too personal, Kyle, because obviously you don't know me and I don't know you yet. Obviously you've talked to me, obviously on text and stuff. But
yeah.
But I was just curious. I'm actually you're living proof, so that kind of makes me feel better. I'm not a teacher. I don't do any of that. But I'm just saying. It's cool. It's cool. I like that, Kyle. You're cool.
Yeah, I mean, I am I'm an adult, right? So I should be able to do adult things, but then also I'm broadcasting a very specific adult thing I'm doing, and yeah, I mean, I think it was worth checking to make sure it wouldn't be an issue. But also I'm kind of taking precautions. So it's not like a student could edit me saying the F word 1,000 times and be like, hey, here's a video I made of the teacher, saying the F word a bunch.
True that.
Yeah, so like that's why I keep them clean. It's that way. If a family did see it, there's nothing they could object to. It's like, well, I'm a legal adult. I'm not drinking and driving. I don't say unsavory things. What's your issue? But yeah, it has not been an issue at all.
When I was in
you had
middle
your channel
school,
you've had your channel for a couple years though, right?
Yeah.
And Nerdsense. Okay.
Nerdsense started, I think, a little before me, right? Or were we right around the same time? Do you know, Mike?
I don't know. I mean, Sean and I have been doing Nerdsense to some degree for about 8 years, but not the beer review side. We started off just doing an audio podcast about movies and stuff we wanted to kind of talk about, but beer became like a bigger and bigger and bigger component of it, and it seemed to be the stuff that people kind of liked the most anyway, and the stuff that we sort of liked talking about the most. It was sort of fortuitous because there's a bunch of people talking about the new Spider-Man movie and the new whatever, and those people are famous sometimes. Like there's not many famous people doing beer stuff. No. So like if you have a famous person talking about I don't know, the last Avengers movie, someone's gonna watch that before they watch me and Sean talk about it.
Speaking of Sean, I think I saw him on your channel, but I don't think I ever met him either. I just met you now, Mike, but I would love to meet Sean. Is he available or you don't know?
He's on
vacation. He's on vacation.
Sorry. He let us know that he was going to be away and that Mike and I maybe could do some stuff. So that would be why. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So he won't be joining. Okay. I was just curious.
No. Despite him fake being mad that we didn't invite him, he was just joking. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I didn't know about that joke. I was just curious because you're saying Sean. I'm assuming that's the next guy. I think. Beard with the orange beard. I think it was. I'm thinking it's him.
Yep. Yeah. 100% right, my friend. We. It's cool, and I think Alex, you also know this. There's a lot of people doing this, like Mike was saying, like there's more people doing, movie reviews and things like that, but like it does feel like there's a lot of people who do beer content, and I think people get into like their bubbles a little bit where like I typically, if I'm going to do a live stream, it's with just people I happen to know, and then you kind of like I did, and Mike has done this too, like Beer Chugs guess the ABV. So it's like, oh, here's a bunch of other like people doing beer stuff. Some I knew, some I didn't know. And then like you kind of like get exposed to like, oh yeah, like these people do it. Or like in this part of the country, there's like a little group, I don't want to say cliques, but like a group of people who are doing this thing. So here's a nice thing about these live streams when people are kind of cross-pollinating. It's like, oh, if you like it, here's another channel you might like.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's pretty rad. It's pretty rad. All right, so what do you think of the beer, Alex?
Very tasty. Obviously you've had it. I'm gonna ask your opinion on it too as well. It tastes like wine to me. I like wine sometimes because I like sweetness of a wine. I like sweet wine. Obviously you said you liked it. I don't know if you like wine, but this is kind of like a wine beer. Very sweet. Yeah. Let me see what else it tastes like.
And I think those are good. I think comparing it to wine is a good descriptor actually for that beer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Maybe like a fruit. I can't put it on my finger, point the finger, but it has a fruit kind of aspect of it. A fruit.
Does it have cherries in it? Am I remembering that correctly?
I think I heard some rumors that it has cherries in it too. Yeah.
Okay. Maybe it's cherries on it. Yeah, I think if I remember again, I've had it, but I don't think I've ever reviewed it. I think it's been a while, but I think I remember cherries.
It does have a sweetness. I think it does have a little cherryness to it. Yeah, you're right. You got that.
Is it cherries? Okay.
Yeah, because in the back end, after I swallow, I could taste cherry now.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Every once in a while, I'm right. It's not often, but every once in a while, I get one. Right.
But it also has it has a sweetness, but it also has a dryness, bitter note to it. I don't know if you remember that, but
okay. I do remember like I want to say tartness, yeah. Mike, with the lactose in that, like you mentioned the creamy mouthfeel, and you said it's pretty sweet. Do you think the sweetness is coming from the lactose, or?
I imagine
or some of
I
it.
imagine that the lactose is contributing more to mouthfeel. It would definitely contribute to sweetness, but it's already kind of sweet as it is. The chocolate and the chocolate is very, very like that sort of like chocolate milk, very, very sweet, very syrupy. But with coconut and that lactose sort of deal, those would just, especially if they're not in abundance, will just contribute to even stronger, sweet, creamy, chocolatey kind of notes. It is pretty awesome.
Nice.
As far as like if you're looking for like a lot of balance, this is in it. But I like how sweet it is. The chicory sort of it keeps it in check to some point, but it's not like it is not like it's sort of like it'd be like a person trying to stop their 5 dogs from getting at you. They'll get 1 or 2 of them, but this.
I like the reference. I get it. Yeah, that's fun. I like that.
I need to do an Instagram thing here because this is the last bottle, actually, Kyle.
Okay, yeah, no worries. So the Burlington, Mike, I think I've had one stout from them. I think I've had more of the hoppy offerings, but you guys were saying that you think they're sorry, my chair's squeaking. Plug it back in. That the stouts are kind of under the radar for how good they are versus like they're kind of known for their hoppier stuff, maybe.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think every brewery is known for the hoppier stuff, right? That's the stuff people are going for. Like, and they have good stuff. Like Wizards, when I remember, they have Orbital Elevator. They have some really good stuff. But like when I went to the brewery, I've been a couple of times. But the stuff I left thinking about was not the hoppy stuff. It was the stouts or they had one. They did have a stout that was sort of like sour, had like some sour notes and like some wine type. I don't remember what it was called anymore.
I haven't had a sour stout in a while, but like the few I can remember were quite good. Like it's something I wouldn't think I would like. Actually, like we were talking about before, like I don't know if I want a sour stout, but like the few I've had that were like really good, it's like, oh, I could see this being something I would want more of. Yeah.
But they're just a really solid brewery. I think if you go to Vermont and you're just looking to go to like Alchemist, you really got to fucking buckle down and either head up to the brewery because that's where you're gonna get the most options. But if not, like if you're going to Alchemist, sorry if anyone knows, but if you go to Alchemist, you got to go to if you're coming from where I am, you got to go to Waterbury. That's how you're gonna get to Stowe. Right when you get off in Waterbury, you can take a left on the highway and you end up over by Prohibition Pig, which you got to go to. It's a great restaurant. It's so good.
Everyone says. I've not been, but that's what everyone says.
It's awesome. I mean, my wife and I went there by accident. Like we were just trying to find something to eat off the highway, and we're like, oh, there's someplace over here. And like we like it was like we went up the highway trying to find something. I didn't Google anything. Like we just found it, and I texted Sean. I said, yeah, we're up in Waterbury. And he said, what are you eating? I said, Prohibition Pig. And he's like, what the fuck? And it was awesome. And we've gone back a couple of times because of how good the fucking food is. And the beer selections are good, and the whiskey selection is good. It's a great place to go. But regardless, right across the street from there, they have a popular, it's not, I don't even know if it's technically a chain, but it's called CBC. It's Craft Beer Cellar. There's one across the street. And they have a really good selection. That's a really good CBC, and they have a bunch generally of BBCO beers, and it's worth going there if you're gonna go to just say I want to go to Von Trapp and I want to go to Alchemist because they're pretty close. You got to stop in Waterbury. You got to go to Prohibition Pig. You got to at least stop at that CBC and get some Burlington Beer Company beers. Otherwise, go to the brewery because they'll have even more stuff. The beer, they have very good stuff. Their hoppy offerings are very good. They're not like your typical New England IPA stuff, although they have New England IPA character. They're just a really, really, really good brewery. They do everything right. And the location has like video games you can play, like Nintendo and shit.
I remember. Yes, I remember that from our previous, no one would know what we're talking about, offline conversation we had. Yeah, that gets confusing sometimes because we talk so much offline. It's like, no, sorry, not a conversation we've had on camera that people would know what we're talking about, but off camera, we had this conversation about it's a fun place to go because they have video games. Yeah. No, it's freaking right.
And it's just a cool location. It looks like a big garage, like a big fucking garage.
Yeah.
It's nice. I last time.
Oh, did you freeze?
All right, I'm back.
Mike, I can't even hear you right now. I think I don't know if Mike knows he froze or not.
I think he's froze. Oh!
Wait,
I saw him. Mike?
Kyle, am I frozen?
Yeah, okay, you're back. You're back.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
My bad.
No, you're fine.
There you go. Now I see you moving.
No, it's good timing because I'm like, so Alex, we wanted to go until 5 o'clock. It's a little after 5, but I wanted to sign off, but I was like, wait, Alex isn't in the room and Mike is frozen. Like, this is not the perfect time to sign off. But anyway, yeah. Alex, appreciate you joining. That's awesome. Make sure you guys check out Alex. And again, he's doing live streams, he's doing videos. As he was saying, besides doing beer reviews, sometimes he does food reviews, things like that. So don't let a name classify who you are. Mike from Nerdsense. Make sure you guys check out Nerdsense. And I'm glad I was able to host the 3rd episode of the Corner Pub. Any last thoughts, gentlemen, before we say cheers and sign off?
Well, I'm planning on finishing this with you, but if you want at the end, I guess that's up to you on that one there, Kyle. But beyond that, I'm happy to meet you guys.
Yes, likewise, Alex, for sure.
I really am. Because, like I said, I've been messaging Kyle sometimes on his videos, and telling him I like that beer or whatever, So.
Oh, heck yeah. Mike, Alex?
No, I was going to say, I want to get back to sort of what we started off talking about initially was the whole Chadwick Boseman and all that stuff. I just, it's a sad thing when someone so young goes and stuff. Yeah. And he doesn't have a huge filmography. It's only honestly just over a handful of movies. But it's good that, I mean, if anything, I know he passed away young, but he's leaving a really huge legacy, and I think he's going to be a very he's very well loved. I think I hope he knew that in his life. That's all.
Yeah.
And may I ask you this? And I know Kyle wants to get off of here, but because when I was watching it before I got on, you thought it was fake. Why did you think it was fake? I mean, I heard something of that nature too, but.
Oh, well, just right when the first time I saw it, because every once in a while you see these things that people post, like such and such famous person died, and it's fake, and like just people think it's fun, I guess. I don't know. I think it's lame to joke about people dying, but that's just me. But yeah, that's why I'm like, oh, someone is thinking they're funny or whatever for posting this, and it's not real. And it didn't help that the link was like a newspaper from Seattle. So like Mike had mentioned, like he saw it in Variety. Yeah, if the first time I had seen it, it was a Variety link, I would have been much more likely to be like, oh, it's real. But it was like, I'm like, oh, this could be a fake. I've never heard of this Seattle, times.org or whatever, something that sounds like it could be real, but I'd never heard of, so that's why I was like, it could be faked. But no, it's fair.
And you can't trust people too sometimes because they like to joke around these kind of times and say, oh, this person died. In reality, they're alive. And that's kind of wrong either way. I don't care if it's a joke or not. You shouldn't do it.
So. Yeah, and I being the history teacher I am, I'm always like double checking sources and stuff. So like I don't take a lot of things at their face value, which I spend a lot of time, checking, which is, I don't want to call it a waste of my time, but I spend a lot of time doing that, and sometimes it's for nothing. Yeah.
And being a huge history nerd I am, that's how I roll.
Yeah.
Too.
That's another thing, Kyle. I think me and you are going to get along just fine because you like history just like me.
Seems like you do, yeah, between your pictures and what you're saying. Yeah, heck yeah.
Since you're a teacher and stuff like that, I can basically talk to you about history all day with no problem, basically, when you're being a history teacher and all. So
true.
That's awesome. All
right. Well, men, cheers.
Cheers.
Another good episode of The Corner Pub. Cheers, guys.
Thanks for letting me join.
Thanks for joining, everyone, including Alex.